So first of all, I do want to congratulate, Accenture for being a top veteran-friendly employer. The reason we're doing this is to let our veterans know a little bit more about you, Greg, and about Accenture and the value that you bring to our veterans. So I'll go ahead.
And we're very appreciative, so thank you.
Absolutely, us too. And we see you guys everywhere, so we know you guys are really are there actively seeking our veterans. So I was just going to start, Greg, with just a little bit of information about you, if you don't mind. I know a lot of people know who you are, but some of us don't. And so we want to know a little bit more about you, your full name, your title, some of what your job duties are, how long you've been there, and how you came to Accenture.
Yeah, it's a great question. I'm Greg Anderson. I'm the COO and Chief Operating Officer of Accenture Human Resources, and I'm also the executive sponsor of our Military Employee Resource Group. I am a veteran. I grew up in a military family. Went to West Point and then was in the Army for 6 years, and then decided to transition out. And I just it was a difficult transition. I didn't know what to expect. I had no idea, what a civilian career path looked like and how I should think about it. So I went to grad school, and I think that was like a 2-year buffer for me getting into the civilian workforce. Never been with a company longer than 6 years, and I've been with Accenture for 18, coming up on 19.
Oh, wow.
And everyone's like, "Well, can you square that circle?" And yeah, it's because Accenture, we have great core values. We have a great sense of mission and a great sense of camaraderie and teamwork, and we have great leaders. And you put all that together, and it's very, very similar to all the great things I had and was missing in the military. And so I've been here for 18, 19 wonderful years, and look forward to many more.
Excellent. First of all, thank you for your service. My father, too, was in the Army. And, when you first got out and how you mentioned the transition was difficult, believe it or not, in 2025, they're having the same difficulty.
Absolutely.
You would think after all these years, there would be more programs, more things. And that's what part of this magazine's mission is to assist in that and to be aware of things. So with that being said, you already said so many things that I'm very familiar with, that Accenture has the core value, the mission, the teamwork, the camaraderie. But I want to hear from you, why you find the value in hiring veterans and what unique skills and perspectives do veterans bring to Accenture, and how do those strengths benefit the company?
Well, absolutely. And I think, when we look at it, we say, well, hiring veterans, it's great for us, okay, as a company, because we get such great talent with such a diversity of thought and lived experiences that and all of that adds to what makes our company so great. It's great for veterans, because veterans are looking for a transition out of the military to where they can apply all their wonderful and sought after and differentiated skills. And it's great for our communities, and it's great for our country. So, we look at it as a win-win-win. Specifically, we target veterans because of their leadership, because of their lived experiences around teamwork and around discipline and around accountability and around mission. It's a great a great set of candidates that bring us resilience and adaptability in many different roles. And they come out of many high pressure environments. And so you kind of know that you've got a known quantity here that's going to be able to hit the ground running.
And I absolutely agree with you. I kind of sum it up with grit. Veterans
Absolutely.
have grit.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
I love all the different words that you used. It sums it up to grit. And going back a bit to the part about the transition from military to corporate environment, can you tell me a little bit about maybe how you or Accenture helps ease that transitions? when a veteran is onboarding?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you a story and this is from a number of years ago. But we were, we were serving a client that was doing some specific back office, processing, right?
Uh-huh.
And it was a high pressure, kind of, they would come in, and they were, processing, a lot of loan applications for a client. Um, and trying to find the right loan processors, given the volume they had, was, it was difficult. Our most successful loan processor happened to be a Marine sniper
Wow.
from Fallujah, who was in the Battle of Fallujah. And so you're trying, and so
Wow.
we talked with him, and we're like, "How did you get?" He goes, "Like this is easy. This is easy compared to what I was doing. He goes, it was hard to get hired because nobody wants, a sniper. Nobody's looking to hire a sniper.
Right, right, right,
What
right.
we're looking to hire the skills the person has, right? And it's not about being a sniper. Okay, it's about all the other things that we've already talked about. And so we took that back and we said, we've got to make this, we've got to help with this gulf that exists between veterans and their capabilities and what they're trying to get. And that was anything from we established a specific military recruiting team, and they were staffed with veterans. Okay, so we hired veterans to build out a military recruiting team. But why? Because veterans want to talk to veterans. Okay,
Yes,
they,
exactly.
they feel comfortable telling
Mhm.
their story to veterans. Okay, so that was first. Second, we looked at all of our job descriptions and we found out that veterans weren't applying because our job description said 4-year college degree. And we were like, oh, so we changed all of our thousands of job descriptions, say 4 years college degree or equivalent military service. Now we're getting all the veterans to apply, right? Because they're like, hey, they acknowledge military service. Okay. So you get them applying. Now you've got them talking with a specific military recruiting team where veterans can talk to veterans. And then we coach them on their resume and how to like translate their skills into civilian environments. But we're not done there. Now we got to go to the hiring manager and we have to coach the hiring manager. Look, we are bringing you a very special candidate, okay, along with the other candidates. But you got to know, this is what, and as soon as you have that conversation with the hiring manager, they're like, I get it.
Right.
Great. I look forward to talking and interviewing this candidate. And they've already made kind of the connection in terms of you say the skill bridge required, as opposed to I'm not looking for this, this, and this. I can get that. I'm actually looking for XYZ in terms of what they may bring. So then, we were able to really, hire a lot of veterans and make sure that as once we hire them, we can bring them in, we can surround them with the right mentoring program. Again, veterans love talking to veterans, so can we have a mentoring program leveraging our military employee resource group so that they've got someone that's going to help them through, and then they can get their sea legs under them and have a successful career.
This is the last question, and it's a big one. So here we go. So what advice would you offer veterans who are considering making a shift to the private sector, particularly at the company like Accenture?
So I'd say one, we want to hear from you, right? And so you got to put yourself out there, and you've got to network. And I will tell you that um, that's different than what you learn in the military. It's completely different, right? Because in the military, you've got a very structured chain of command, and you know what you're going to do. You're told and you do it as part of a team, and you progress up in a very regimented fashion. It is not that way in corporate no America. And so what I like to do is like sit down with veterans and say, look, especially if I'm talking to people on campus or people coming out of the programs, people coming right out of the military, it's like the more you network, the better off you're going to be. And so you've got to be able to say, you know what, let me go find people that have similar experiences to me or have similar interests or
Mhm.
career path to me and let me learn from them. And so you go out to LinkedIn, you find them. Okay. And you have a LinkedIn profile. And as you do that, you reach out to them, make a request. Then you ask them, hey, do you mind if, if we talk for 30 minutes? Because I'd like to be able to learn a couple things. We love talking to other veterans. And
Yes.
and
Yeah.
so it's oftentimes the veteran, the candidate's like, oh, I'm taking up this time. I don't want to do that. And you can't, it's a trap. You can't think that way. You've
Oh,
got to be
that's
able to say, hey, I'm happy to ask because the person on the other end is happy to do it.
absolutely.
They're paying it forward. And
Hmm.
so, the first thing as you start to build those connections, then you build other connections. And then you start to learn. You learn about, the roles, the jobs, the industries, the potential, and you can kind of shape your thinking on where you want to go and how you're going to do it. So that's number one. Number two, I said, you got to think about a career and not a job. Veterans
Excellent.
transition out of the militaries and they say, I must get a job. That is a trap.
Mhm.
You got to think about your career. I see
Absolutely.
so many veterans end up in a dead end job because they felt like I got to get something right now, as opposed to thinking through, where do I fit? What do I want to do? And where do I want to spend this next chapter of my career doing something? And when you get into a career where you progress, it's not about the job. It's about all the traits you bring as a veteran that's going to allow you to be successful over time. I really try to impress that, on, with any veteran I talk to. And the third thing I say is you got to be a continuous learner. Okay.
Mhm.
Just like in the military, you're always learning. Okay. You're always apprenticing something. It could be any kind of different skill that you're learning or apprenticing. Same thing in civilian workforce. Okay. So, you've got to be able to say, okay, what are the trends out there with, say, Gen AI, artificial intelligence and chat GPT and all the other
Sure,
capabilities
sure,
out there.
sure.
Well, you know what? You go out and you learn about them, and you'd be amazed at the amount of, individual learnings and training are out there that, start to differentiate you, not just with the skills that you already possess, but also the forward-looking skills that you can bring to life. So that's three. And then the fourth is you got to tell your story. Okay. And you got to be proud of how you tell your story,
Right.
because veterans have incredible stories to tell, and
Yes.
they often minimize them because veterans are so humble.
Humble.
And you know what?
So true.
It's
So
about
true.
selling yourself. And so you've
Hmm.
got to be able to say, you know what? Here's what I did. Here's how wildly successful it is. Here's what I'm proud of. Here are the awards, decorations I have. You've got to be able to craft it into a story of lived experiences that, companies can say, wow, not why would we hire this person? Why wouldn't we hire this person?
Yeah. Right. That's
And so it's
excellent
those four
advice.
things. Those four things.
Excellent. No, I think that's outstanding advice. So, is there anything else before we wrap this up that you'd like to share about yourself, the program, or the company? Is there anything else before we leave?
I think we probably hit we probably hit on a lot, unless you think there's gaps.
No, I think it's excellent. Actually, I loved what you said. I think there's so much here that is so unique to who you guys are. And I really look forward to writing this. I think it's going to be outstanding.
All right, I look forward. And if,
Yeah.
if you have any follow-up questions or
Okay. Yeah,
more than
I'm
happy
in connection with
to.
Mary as well. Yeah. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much for your time,
No,
Greg.
it's
And
my
to let you
pleasure.
know, I know you guys are doing so much, and you are especially on the, being on the helm there. Thank you so much for all that you do for our veterans. And I look forward to giving this back to you and to them, for them
I
to
will.
know what a wonderful job and what opportunities are available at Accenture.
It's great. We're proud of it. We're proud that we can do a lot with our veteran community. And thank you for writing the article about us. All right, thanks, Mona.
All
See
right.
ya.
Take care. God bless. Bye bye.